Hey everyone, I had a great week one. Don't believe me? I created this incredible scrapbook to commemorate the memories. So that was my week one in fantasy. That being said, let's get into the matchups, which, as a reminder, were all divisional games, so that was extra special. Just FYI, I'm going to try to go a little quicker this week because it is late. I just played basketball and I am tired. By the way, I played pretty decently. So, first up, myself against Justin. I did not have a great week, as we just saw, scoring only 54 total points. And Justin didn't have a great week either, but his team did enough to gain 76 points, and he got the win. I think it was really important for me to get the win while he had some guys sitting, but I wasn't able to do so. So it was this week. Jessica against Rick. Jessica got a huge help from Antonio Brown and Gronk, combining for 46 of her 99 points. And that was enough to help here and there, and she was able to beat Rick, who saw some surprising weaknesses from Marshawn, Golden Tate, some of the other guys that I thought were going to do a little bit better, but didn't really. Dave against Cam. Even though Andrew Luck appeared to be doing terrible, he still came away with 21 points and got another 22 from Forte, but that wasn't enough to beat Cam, who got some very surprising outings from Tyler Eifert and Austin Safarian-Jenkins. I think they combined for like 43 points. That's pretty wild. Tony against Micah. Tony got a good first outing from Amir Abdullah. That was good to see. Got a great performance from Julio. Julio usually has either week 1, 2, or 3. He usually has a huge week. Obviously does well all the other times too, but he always has one huge week. Hopefully for Tony's sake, he didn't use it up in week 1, because just about everyone else on Tony's team underperformed. While Micah got a surprising 20 points from Bishop Sankey, I don't think anyone saw that coming, and 21 from the Panthers' defense. Nate Trammell against Tyler. Tyler had a huge game from the Deflator and some decent games from Eddie Lacy and Jeremy Hill, but that wasn't enough to overtake Nate Trammell, who got double-digit performances from all but 3 of his players. It was crazy. I stand corrected. Last week in the video I said that I thought Nate Trammell's guys were getting a little bit too high of projected points. Turns out I was wrong. Nate Trammell also scored the most points this week, so $5 will go back to him at the end of the year. So congrats, Nate Trammell. And that brings us to Kirk against Nate Marchini. Despite Nate substituting the Rams defense, who put up 12 points, he substituted them for the Bucs defense that barely avoided getting negative points. Nate Marchini had a monster performance from Tony Romo, Jason Witten, and DeAndre Hopkins, who I just got rid of. That was awesome. Side note, if any of you can ever watch football with Nate Marchini while he's playing fantasy sports, I highly suggest you do so. Extremely entertaining. But Nate didn't believe me when I said last week that I thought Mariota would have a big first week. Didn't believe me, so Nate, here you go. Kirk has Mariota in there. But against Tampa Bay, I think Jameis may be a little risky. He's gonna turn the ball over. Sometimes he's gonna give Tennessee more opportunities. I think Mariota's actually gonna have an okay first game. I don't like him for the season. If we look at the standings, I'll say quick. If you guys go onto the Google Doc now, I've added a tab called Standings that shows the standings of each division as well as how the playoffs would look if the season were to end today. It's pretty neat. It also shows each week who had the highest point total, so you can keep track of how many $5 bills you get at the end of the year. Honolulu Blue Division has Jessica at the top. The Silver Division has Cam leading, and the Black Division has Nate Trammell leading. And if the playoffs were to end today, Nate Trammell would have the number 1 seed and would play Dave at the number 8 seed. Cam would have the number 2 seed and would play Tyler at the number 7 seed. Jessica would have the number 3 seed and would play Justin, the 6th seed. And Nate Marquini would have the 4 seed and would be playing Micah, the 5 seed. Kirk would be 9th, so he'd be just missing playoffs, which would give him the number 1 overall pick again in the draft. That'd be followed by Tony, Rick, and then crappy old me. Just one trade prior to the start of the Week 1 games. Micah traded Marshawn Lynch, Melvin Gordon, and his 6th round pick to Rick for Adrian Peterson, Bishop Sankey, and a 5th rounder. Prior to the games, I actually liked this trade for Rick. I personally don't think Melvin Gordon will have a very good year. I never did think that, at least his first year. But I think his upside is a lot higher than Bishop Sankey. Keep in mind those were my thoughts prior to Bishop Sankey scoring 20 points this past weekend. I still hold true to that. Maybe not quite as much, but still think long-term the trade benefits Rick. But it was an extremely fair trade. I liked it. If we look at the updates for Commish versus Cam, I did not do well. It is fitting that with the week that I had, that I lost, and boy did I. Cam smoked me by about 35 points. Tannehill, for me, even though he was playing the Washington defense, who was ranked like last in everything last year, got only 13. Plus I got weak performances from Adrian Peterson at 5 points, Des Bryant at 4, Greg Olsen 1. And it could have been worse if Carlos Hyde didn't go off for about 3,000 points. Still ended up losing by 35. Cam got a huge bump from Carson Palmer with 31 points, Chris Ivory at 21, Antonio Brown at 19, and of course Gronk at 27. So Cam has the lead there. And the last sort of head-to-head thing, Micah against myself. Each week we pick the winners for each matchup. And we both agreed that we have to choose at least one upset based on the ESPN projections. So myself against Jessica is the first matchup. I think that I will win. I can't go against myself. I gotta go with me to have a bounce back game. Too many talented guys on the team to put up 54 points again. And I'm hoping that Gronk doesn't put up another 27, especially against Buffalo. So Micah also chose me, and his reasoning was that Jessica just has too weak of running backs to be able to contend this week. Justin against Rick, I'm going with Justin, which I think technically is an upset pick. And Micah's going with Rick, and he claims that Justin's wide receivers are against tough cornerbacks, so it's going to be tough for Justin to pull away this week. Dave against Tony, both of us going with Tony. We kind of agreed that the loss of T.Y. Hilton, or at least his injury, is going to hurt Dave. Plus, it's another tough matchup for Andrew Luck. I don't see Matt Forte getting another 22. Cam against Micah. We're both going with Micah. I think Cam has a great team. Micah said he's just not going to pick against himself. I completely agree, as I just couldn't pick against myself. It's just one of those gut things. I think it'll be a close game. I'm picking Micah to run away with it just a little bit, though. I don't think Austin Seferian-Jenkins and Tyler Eifert are both going to get over 20 each, like they did last week. I think that could hurt Cam. I think we saw DeMarco's maybe not quite as strong if last week was any indication of how the season's going to go, but who knows. Kirk against Nate Turmel. Both of us picking Nate Turmel. My reasoning was he just scored the most points in the league, so kind of got to give him one more shot at it. Micah's reasoning, and I am quoting here verbatim, Gore sucks. Tough matchup for Murray, and no Dez really hurts Kirk. So, Micah, not a fan of Gore. And then Tyler against Nate Marquini. I'm going with Tyler. Micah's going with Nate Marquini. Micah doesn't like the defenses that Tyler's guys have to go up against, and he likes Witten and Lamar Miller for Nate to go off. Nate, I picked against you last week. You ended up winning. So maybe me picking against you is your good luck charm, and if that's the case, I will start picking you more often. But we will find out. So that kind of does it for this week's video. I know it was short, but just got a busy life, people, okay, between football and that's about it. It's busy. But I do encourage everyone to go out, check out the Google Sheet. It'll have a lot of information. It's actually pretty cool. Just keep an eye on that playoff seeding because, again, I don't think ESPN is going to be able to do quite what we want it to do, so that will be kind of how we keep track of everything. Good luck to everyone except for my lovely wife this week, and have a good one.